You've done the therapy, you've read the books, you've journaled your heart out, recited affirmations in the mirror, and still, something inside feels stuck. Like a part of you is frozen in time, like healing keeps slipping just out of reach. What if the reason you can't move forward is because you haven't looked back far enough? What if the key to your healing isn't in doing more, but in facing what you've spent your life avoiding? This is not about blame. This is not about making your mother the villain. It's about finally seeing the invisible shape she left inside you. The mother wound. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists in history, believed that the mother is not just a person. She is an archetype, an energy, a force that lives inside your unconscious mind. From your earliest breath, you absorbed her emotions, her stories, her unlived dreams. You learned how to love from her. You learned how to abandon yourself from her, too. The mother wound is not always about overt abuse. Sometimes it's about what wasn't there, the smile that never came, the comfort that was too fragile, the safety that had conditions. It's the part of you that whispers, "I have to be perfect to be loved. I must not outshine her. If I speak my truth, I will be rejected." And the truth is, you will never fully heal until you face this wound. Because no matter how much you grow, you cannot outrun what you have not yet met. In this video, we're going to explore the profound insights of Carl Jung and how they reveal the hidden psychological prison many of us were born into. We'll look at the archetype of the shadow mother, the deep psychic imprint she leaves behind, and the journey of individuation, the sacred path of becoming whole. This is your rite of passage, a crossing from unconscious survival to conscious sovereignty. It's not an easy path, but it is the most important one you'll ever walk. Because the moment you stop avoiding the truth is the moment your soul begins to breathe. The healing you've been searching for isn't outside you. It's been waiting, quietly, beneath the story you were handed. This is that story's end and your beginning. There's a wound many of us carry not on our bodies, but buried deep in our psyche. A wound so ancient, so subtle, that most people live their entire lives unaware of its presence. This is the mother wound, not a scar from something obvious, but the ache of something missing. It begins before we have words, in the way we're held, or not, in the way love is given, or withheld, in the thousand silent messages we absorb before we can even speak. Carl Jung believed that our relationship with the mother shapes the foundation of our soul. She is our first mirror, the one who reflects back our worth, our belonging, our right to exist. But what happens when that mirror is cracked, when the reflection we see is distorted by her own pain? You see, no mother is perfect, and many are doing the best they can. But if your mother was emotionally unavailable, overly critical, smothering, or fragile in her own trauma, you learned early on that love had a price. Maybe you had to silence your needs to keep her calm. Maybe you became her caretaker, her confidant, her emotional crutch, and little by little, you disappeared. This is not about blame, this is about recognition. Because until you acknowledge this invisible inheritance, you can't free yourself from it. The mother wound shows up in strange ways: perfectionism, people-pleasing, fear of rejection, inability to trust, choosing partners who feel oddly familiar, yet never safe. You think it's you. You think you're broken, but what's really broken is the bond that shaped you. This wound lives in your nervous system, in your beliefs, in your body. It whispers, "I'm too much. I'm not enough. I have to earn love." And unless you bring it into the light, it will keep repeating in every area of your life, in your relationships, your career, your sense of purpose. That's why Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. You're not broken, you are patterned, and those patterns began long ago, in a relationship that was supposed to teach you love, but taught you survival instead." Facing the mother wound is not about judging your past. It's about reclaiming your future. Because the truth is, you did not choose the wound, but you can choose to heal it. In Jungian psychology, there's a name for the psychological structure left by the mother wound. It's called the mother complex. This complex isn't just a memory or emotion. It's a living system inside you, an inner pattern that affects how you feel, think, relate, and love. It's the voice that echoes in your mind when you make a mistake. What's wrong with you? Why can't you get it right? It's the guilt you feel for setting boundaries, the shame that creeps in when you dare to take up space. The mother complex forms when the bond between child and mother becomes entangled with unmet needs, unspoken expectations, and emotional enmeshment. In this fusion, you don't become yourself. You become what she needed you to be. This is how the mother imago takes shape. A powerful inner image of your mother, idealized or feared, that unconsciously governs your adult life. And until you recognize it, you are likely living in reaction to it. You may spend your life trying to please her, even if she's no longer alive or rebelling against her, still trapped in her orbit. You may choose partners who reflect her emotional patterns, or you may become her, carrying her wounds as your own. The mother complex is the emotional DNA of your inner child. It's why you shrink when you speak up. It's why love feels dangerous. It's why freedom feels foreign. But here's the truth. This complex doesn't have to rule your life. Because what was formed inside you can be unformed, understood, and transcended. Carl Jung didn't teach people to destroy the mother image. He taught them to differentiate from it, to separate the inherited story from the authentic self waiting underneath. This is the sacred work of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming who you truly are. Beyond roles, beyond conditioning, beyond the internalized mother, and it begins with awareness. Ask yourself, whose voice do I hear when I doubt myself? Whose approval am I still chasing? Whose pain am I carrying as if it were my own? These are not just questions. They are keys that unlock the prison of unconscious loyalty and open the door to radical liberation. You were never meant to stay trapped in someone else's image. You were meant to grow beyond it. Facing the mother complex doesn't mean rejecting your mother. It means embracing yourself. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when survival is no longer enough. When living for approval, validation, or peacekeeping feels like a slow death. This is the moment of separation. Not out of anger, but out of necessity. Not as an act of rejection, but as an act of rebirth. Separating from the emotional roles we inherited from our mothers is one of the most sacred and painful rites of passage. It's the moment you stop being the child who absorbs everyone else's feelings and start becoming the adult who owns their truth. But let's be honest, it's terrifying. Because separation can feel like betrayal, especially if your mother made you responsible for her happiness, her wounds, or her identity. You may feel like you're abandoning her, but what you're really doing is rescuing yourself. Carl Jung understood that we cannot individuate, cannot become whole, while fused with our parental archetypes. To claim our sovereignty, we must face the grief of leaving behind who we were trained to be. This is the sacred pain, grieving the mother you needed, but didn't have. grieving the parts of yourself you had to exile to stay loved, grieving the identity that was never fully yours. And through this grief, something miraculous happens. You begin to hear your own voice. You begin to feel your own desires. You begin to return to yourself. Sovereignty isn't rebellion. It's self-possession. It's no longer outsourcing your worth. It's standing in your truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. And that includes your mother. You're not here to be a mirror for her wounds. You're here to break the cycle, to live freely, to love consciously, to embody a new pattern for yourself and those who come after you. This isn't an overnight shift. It's a process, layer by layer, belief by belief. You peel away what isn't yours until what remains is raw, real, and unmistakably you. And when you look back, not with bitterness, but with clarity, you'll realize the most radical act of love was not staying small for her, but becoming whole for you. Your soul came here to awaken, and sometimes awakening begins with saying, "This ends with me." Healing the mother wound is not a single breakthrough. It's a layered, non-linear unfolding, a slow shedding of what never belonged to you, and a courageous reclaiming of what always did. There are 9 stages in this sacred journey. Each one is a portal. Each one invites you to step deeper into wholeness. Stage 1, recognition. You begin to sense that something isn't right, that the pain you carry isn't just you. You start to see the patterns in your relationships, your triggers, your inner dialogue. Stage 2, naming the pattern. This is when you put words to what was once invisible. You name the emotional inheritance, the guilt, the fear, the shame that didn't start with you. Language becomes your first tool of liberation. Stage 3, reclaiming the exiled self. The child who learned to shrink, to stay quiet, to take care of others, deserves to come home. You begin to welcome back your truth, your power, your needs. Stage 4, mourning what was missing. This is the heart of the work, allowing yourself to grieve the mother you needed but didn't have. Not as blame, but as honest acknowledgement, grief is the doorway to release. Stage 5, releasing guilt and obligation. You begin to untangle love from loyalty. You realize that setting boundaries is not betrayal, it's integrity. You're allowed to choose yourself. Stage 6, confronting the internalized mother. This is the shadow work. You meet the voice within that judges you, controls you, shames you, and you begin to disidentify from it. You see, that is not me. Stage 7, reparenting the inner child. You become what you never had. The safe place, the loving presence. You rewrite the emotional blueprint, one moment of compassion at a time. Stage 8, integrating the feminine. You reclaim your relationship with the feminine, not just in your mother, but in yourself. You honor softness without weakness. You embrace intuition, depth, and emotional truth. Stage 9, choosing your own story. You're no longer living by someone else's script. You're writing your own. This is where healing becomes creation, where survival becomes sovereignty. This path is not easy, but it's yours, and it leads to a place no one else can give you, your true self. Healing the mother wound isn't about changing the past. It's about claiming the future you were always meant to live. What if your healing isn't just for you? What if the pain you carry is a message passed down through generations, waiting for someone, you, to finally hear it? You see, we don't just inherit eye color or last names. We inherit stories, wounds, patterns, emotional legacies passed down like sacred scripts. Maybe your mother was never mothered. Maybe her silence, her anger, her distance was the language of her own survival. And maybe you, the one who feels too much, questions too much, breaks too many rules, were born to interrupt the cycle. This is what it means to become the healed ancestor, not perfect, not finished, but conscious, awake. To look at the lineage of pain and choose, with trembling hands, to put it down. This is the work of alchemy, transforming pain into wisdom, abandonment into presence, silence into voice, fear into love. Carl Jung believed that healing isn't about escaping the unconscious, but integrating it, bringing it into light, so that what once controlled us in secret becomes part of our sacred wholeness. You become the mother you never had, to yourself, to your future children, to the world. You don't have to be a parent to carry this medicine. Every time you choose to feel rather than numb, to speak rather than suppress, to stay rather than run, you are mothering something sacred. You are changing the field. You are rewriting what it means to love. And one day, someone will look at you, a friend, a partner, maybe a child, and say, "Because of you, I feel safe. Because of you, I know how to love. Because of you, I began to heal." This is legacy, not in name or blood, but in energy, in presence, in truth. You came here to break what was never yours, to embody what was always meant to be. And as you heal, you don't just become someone new. You become who you were before the wound, whole, worthy, free. You're not just the wounded child. You're the one who chose to remember, the one who chose to return, the one who will be remembered as the healed ancestor. If this message stirred something in you, a memory, a truth, a longing, honor it. You are not alone on this path. There are millions of us, quietly doing the work, breaking the silence, reclaiming what was lost. This journey is sacred, and even on the days it feels dark, you are still moving forward, still healing generations through every choice you make. Thank you for walking this path, not just for yourself, but for those who came before you and those who will come after. If this video spoke to you, share it with someone who may need to hear these words. Let's keep this ripple of healing moving, and if you're ready to go deeper, into shadow work, into self-reclamation, into freedom, subscribe, and join this growing circle of conscious souls doing the inner work. Remember, you are not too much, you are not too broken, you are becoming whole.